introduce yourself and tell me your name.
Okay. Tierney Bricker.
And what is your job? What's your position?
I work at E-News. That's with an exclamation mark. E-News. And I'm a features editor.
And what was your first job in the entertainment industry?
Well, my first internship was at J14 Magazine, where they let me write, I'm going to burst so many bubbles here, the horoscopes that I used to live and die by was written by some poor intern that was, struggling to come up with anything different for 12 different horoscopes.
So like people are like reading about like their future and their love life, hanging on every word, and it was just you as an intern?
It was me telling you to go talk to your crush in math class. And then, that was it was actually really fun though. They gave me so many opportunities that I never thought I would get. And then first real job, really was at E. I worked at another outlet really quickly because I started off as an intern at E. I worked somewhere else for 5 months at Zap To It, RIP. It's no longer around. But then once a position opened up at E with the TV Scoop team, they invited me back, and I've kind of been there and worked my way up ever since.
How long have you been there?
Oh, gosh, I think 8 years now.
Wow. Okay.
I know. It's very rare in especially like the journalism industry, the entertainment one, for someone to stay, I think, at an outlet that long. So it's been kind of a very different experience than a lot of my colleagues and friends.
Nice. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh gosh, that's so hard. I was one of those people that loved Almost Famous. My grandfather, after he retired as a
Tierney,
cop.
It's all happening.
It's all happening. I know, it's so basic, but it's because, my grandfather, after he retired as a police officer, Starsky and Hutch was actually based on him and his partner.
Oh, wow.
He was the Lone Ranger. That was his name in like the New York Post and the Daily News. He always dreamed of being an actor when he was younger. And so he opened video stores called Mr. Video. So I worked there. And I became obsessed with watching any kind of movie, like old movies and, anything new that came out. And there was this one customer who always recommended movies. And he said, you should watch Almost Famous. And I watched it, fell in love. But I also fell in love with classics like Laura, all the Audrey Hepburn movies. I love a stupid comedy though too. I'm like, it's
You're
so
a movie buff. It's hard to pick one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really hard.
What's your favorite TV show?
Okay. I feel like Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of shaped my adolescence.
Mm-hmm.
All-time favorite TV character is Buffy Summers. Friday Night Lights, I think, is pretty damn perfect. I probably a few months ago would have said Game of Thrones. Feeling like I'm working.
I feel like you and a lot of people
I'm
might be
working through
agreeing
it.
on that right now.
And then reality shows would be the Bachelor franchise, Vanderpump Rules, of course, and probably Real Housewives of New York.
Nice. So what's the best advice that you've ever been given in your career?
So this was technically not in my career, but I've applied it to like all aspects of my life. It was a soccer coach because I was a pretty competitive soccer player, like all through up until college. They said something one day during a practice that really stuck with me as a perfectionist. They said, practice makes permanent. And I think that's something that once you let go of an expectation of doing something perfectly all the time and you give yourself the chance to fuck up, you'll always remember how to do something. And I think if you take that mentality in any aspect of your life, it really will help you.
All right. Well, thanks for coming to Working Class Hollywood.
Thank you for having me.
And if you want to hear more from Tierney, check out the podcast episode on Apple iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen. Thanks, Tierney.
Thanks.